the artifact creature that put Stopters into play, whose name instantly escaped me as soon as I seen it. He's going to cast that, looks like, for 3, and it's going to meet a Silumgar Scorn, revealing the Icefall region again. So hard counter on that. The Hanger Backwalker. And Joe is having a hard time getting through this wall of removal and counter spells from John. John is completely in the driver's seat right now at a very healthy 27 life. And Joe is depleted on resources himself. I don't think he has any creatures in hand. I know he has 2 Dramoka's commands, from what I could tell. John mulling over his hand. We'll see what he has for this turn. And John tapped those Polluted Deltas. We're going to have to get him to sacrifice those real quick. I'll be right back. Take care of that. Well, I had the mana for it open. I'll be right back anyways. I'm just going to make sure he knows he did that so it doesn't happen again. So dig through time cast from John here. Yeah, I got that taken care of. If you're wondering, that's just a warning because he did have the mana to pay for it. And FNM, it's yeah, Tibalt's exactly right. It's he had the mana for it active, and FNM level is casual, so you just make sure they don't do it again. Take care of it. So John resolves Dig Through Time, chooses 2 cards. Look like a Dissolve and a Foul Tongue Invocation, if I saw correctly. I'm gonna untap, draws card for the turn, completely in the driver's seat now. All Joe can seemingly do is look back and sit back and watch as John takes over this game. He's gonna hit Joe down to 15 and get life totals updated for you. Sorry. And pass the turn back to Joe. Joe's going to play a Force for his turn. Mull over his decisions and pass quickly back to John. John's going to untap, draw for his turn. I can't tell. There's a little bit of glare on it, but it might be a Crux of Fate, which seems completely unnecessary right now. And definitely overkill as John attacks Joe down to... as he's going to attack Joe down to 12. It should be. Once they get life totals updated on the pad. It looks like another Hangerback Walker from Joe as he draws his card, and it's going to meet a Dissolve. So yeah, just a handful of spells. Handful of spells from Joe, and no board presence at all. And John is completely in control of this game. Again, this is blue-black control at its best. Play some threats, back them up with counter and removal, and lock your opponent out of the game that way. As John is going to draw his card for the turn, he's going to swing in for 7, which I guess I missed some life, and that's going to drop Joe down to 7. And John's going to pass the turn quickly back and scoop them up, as he cannot handle the dragons from John's side of the table. So John Pratt is going to win this game 2-0 with his blue-black dragon control list. And never really seemed threatened at all. Hardened Scales was not able to do what it wanted to do. John showing he sideboarded in some more removal, some Bile Blights, or sideboarded out Bile Blights for the Foul Tongue Invocations. Doesn't seem very good against a deck that puts a bunch of creatures into play. Alright, so I'm going to get life total situated here. Wait to hear what we have for the next round, and I'm going to switch it back to me and open up another pack of Magic Origins. Really upset that I haven't opened a Planeswalker yet, but hopefully we can get to that here very shortly. I'm going to grab one of these packs and get back to me on the camera. The stream needs more 1-mana red cards. Not gonna argue. I like red cards. Depending on what 1-mana red cards you have in mind, though, that's can't just be any 1-mana red cards. I want to see some lightning bolts. I don't want to see no shocks. All right, started off here. Having Eyeblight Assassin, 2 and a black, 2/1, 2/2 when it enters the battlefield. Target creature an opponent controls gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Mage Ring Bully, again. So definitely some cards we've seen so far. 1 and a red for a 2/2 prowess, attacks each turn of Fable. Grasp of the Hieromancer, pretty new. 1 and a white, enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has whenever this creature attacks. Tap target creature defending player controls. Touch of Moonglove is a black instant. Target creature you control gets +1/+0 until end of turn and gains Death Touch. When a creature dealt damage by that creature dies this turn, its controller loses 2 life. Quite the wall of text for a black common. Preferably 18 lands and 42 spells. We'll see. Nothing wrong with that. Elvish Visionary is the next one. Modern All-Star really pulls the elf decks in Modern and Legacy together. 1 and a green when Elvish Visionary enters the battlefield, draw a card. It's a 1/1. Artificer's Epiphany. Draw 2 cards. If you control no artifacts, discard a card, instant spell. So kind of the divination replacement. Really good if you control an artifact like a Hangerback Walker, because it allows you to not have to discard a card, which is supposed to be the drawback of this card being instant speed. Might of the Masses, 1 green. Target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each creature you control. Screeching Scab, 1 and a blue. When it enters the battlefield, put top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard. That's a 2/1. We've seen that one though. Ring Warden now. Here we go. 3 and a blue for a 3/3 flying prowess. Not bad at all for a blue limited card, especially at the common level. Mantle of Webs is 1 and a green enchant creature, gets +1/+3 and has reach. So going back to the kind of spider enchantments that give your creatures reach. We're into the uncommons now. Patron of the Valiant is 3 and a white, 4/4, or 3 white 4/4. When it enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it. Scab Goliath, 5 and a blue. As an additional cost to cast Scab Goliath, exile 2 cards from your graveyard. It's a 6/9 trample. Not bad at all, really, for a late game 6-drop. Blightcaster, 3 and a black. When you cast an enchantment spell, you may have target creature get -2/-2 until end of turn, and it's a 2/3 wizard. And the rare, got there, Chandra, Fire of Kaladesh and Chandra Roaring Flame. Exactly where we want it to be. And a Thopter token to top it off. How can you argue with that? Chandra Fire Kaladesh is a Kaladesh is a 1 red 2/2. When you cast a red spell, you untap it. You tap it and it deals 1 damage to target creature or target player. If it has dealt 3 or more damage this turn, exile her, then return her to the battlefield transformed into Chandra Roaring Flame. Chandra Roaring Flame is a Planeswalker Chandra. Has 4 loyalty. You +1. Chandra Roaring Flame deals 2 damage to target player. -2. Chandra Roaring Flame deals 2 damage to target creature. And -7. Chandra Roaring Flame deals 6 damage to each opponent. Each player dealt damage this way gets an emblem with at the beginning of your upkeep. This emblem deals 3 damage to you. So, not awful. And we did get the checklist card. So right where we wanted to be. Red hair, red card. It's meant to be a match actually made in heaven. She does do red things. Actually, her ultimate might be my favorite. The plus and minus abilities are hit and miss, but that ultimate deals 6 damage to you and lightning bolt you every turn. That's gonna end the game pretty quickly if the game gets to that point. Alright, so a Chandra opened up, a Dig Through Time given away. We are doing things at Hometown Hobbies on 4th Avenue, Huntington, West Virginia. I'm in Red Drop Games. They're right next door. They deal in all games retro. I'm pretty sure I walked through and I saw some guy playing Naruto on a Wii. It's pretty awesome. Don't know if you're into that, but I am. It's pretty cool. I'm trying to see what we got coming up next match. Oh yeah, and I didn't I wasn't able to get back to my question. By green red dragons, I need to know if you mean actual dragons or green red devotion, because I think green red devotion is where you want to be if you're into the green red decks. Abzan control, of course, is going to be pretty powerful as well. I'm going to be interested to see what kind of new brews come up. There's always something interesting that pops up at the Pro Tour that one of the teams comes up with that kind of takes the field by storm. And I'm wondering if Magic Origins brings enough to the format to have that kind of effect again. But we'll find out. We'll find out shortly. Let me see. When is the Pro Tour? Devotion gets worse against I'm assuming Abzan, due to language, so that's why I said dragons. That's probably true. Language does mix things up a little bit, because it even puts Abzan at a critical point where it has to rely on Tazagur and Siege Rhino more than it can just playing the aggro cards, because it handles the Fleeceman Lion, and it handles all their cards so well for the Abzan aggro decks, that I think Abzan control is where you want to be if you're playing Abzan. Or you could be playing a more maybe mid-range, but just more like Satyr, the Satyr card that reveals lands and puts cards into your graveyard. Basically that kind of mid-range deck that we saw after Fate Reforged was released. And then there's always a chance that Language just makes Esper Dragons come back. If the non-blue control decks are popping up, that's right where we want to be if you're Esper Dragons. So we'll see what that does to the format. Jace kind of pulls that deck together as a 2-drop. I'm pretty sure, I haven't looked it up yet, but I'm pretty sure that Pro Tour Magic Origins is